Bonjour et bienvenue à notre leçon. Hello and welcome to our lesson. Please excuse the quality of this video. Zoom and Loom and any other thing were just giving me fits, so I hope this works out for you. This is just a reminder about when homework is due. It is due by the Monday night, midnight, for things like the quiz that we'll have over the previous week, or from the lesson from the previous week, the grammar concepts and vocabulary that we will review in class, and then you'll take that quiz that week. Your grammar activities are due by Monday night, and as well as your scripture of the week. But your vocabulary, as you write it, whether it's on a piece of paper or note cards, whatever is your preference, that will be due in class. Also, please make sure to click the click the actual assignment as opposed to just sort of seeing what the assignment is and then going straight to the links that are attached. Because if you click the assignment, then you'll get the description and that'll have like instructions on what to do or stuff like that. So that'll be important. To review, we'll start with our révision. We learned last week that cognates are words that look the same in two languages and they both have the same meaning. And again, I catch that I made a grammar mistake right here. So that's great. A faux ami is a word that looks the same in two languages, but it has a different meaning. And we had a few of those, like blessé, which looks like to bless, actually means to wound. And then lots and lots of cognates so that it's very helpful and encouraging to you that you do know lots and lots of French. We also learned that French nouns have gender. That may or may not have anything to do with what it actually is. Le is the article that comes before a masculine singular noun. La is the article that comes before a feminine singular noun. L'apostrophe will come before a vowel. Whether it's masculine or feminine, that doesn't change. It's just, or that doesn't have anything to do with it. If it starts with a vowel or like the silent H, what they call H muet, then it will have L apostrophe. And then the article le would come before plural nouns. And these are definite articles that are the equivalent of our the. So specific things, certain things. These are the definite article, and this is super important to learn while you are learning the noun. It's best to always practice so that you know the gender, because that'll be important as we go on. To make most words plural, you'll just add an S. Le fruit becomes les fruits. We've just added an S to the end of the noun fruit, and instead of the le, we have made it, or we changed it to the article, plural article, les. La fille becomes les filles. L'acteur becomes les acteurs. But if the noun already ends in an S, then we will not add another one. So le fils will, as plural, be les fils. Also, remember, most final consonants are not pronounced. So if you will repeat after me, sport, leçon, blanc, long, Jacques. But there are some that are, and we remember them by they're the consonants in the word careful. So repeat, it would be parc, bonjour, chef, Michel. It's a little out of order. I also meant to put it with the other one. Most words or most nouns that end with EAU, to form the plural, you'll just add X. So le bureau ends with EAU. So to make it plural, we'll add an X at the end. Use the plural article, les bureaux. Most nouns that end with AL, we're going to change the AL to AUX. So le journal becomes les journaux. Accents. Accents are very important. It looks to us like, oh, it's just a little mark on the same letter, but is a spelling issue. So I stress the importance of remembering um, how to spell it correctly using the correct accent. So we've got the accent aigu that points up, and it's the sound that you hear in cafe. So it's like an up sound, kind of, cafe. Then on the next line, you'll see accent grave, and that's like the one that goes down, like going to the grave, kind of dark, but it helps me remember it. And it changes the sound. So, for example, um, on the E or in the word, it'd be célèbre, célèbre. It makes it more of the E sound. The circumflex is like the little hat on those vowels. And this and also the accent grave in certain situations, but mostly the little circumflex are where, like in Old French, there was an S. So île means island, and hôpital is hospital, just like it looks, oh, except without an S. And then the cédille is only on the letter C, and it's a little squiggly thing under it. Kind of looks like a little 5, maybe. But it makes it makes the C have the soft, like, S sound. It comes before, like, A and O. Um, and that's how, instead of it being like garçon, it would be garçon. And then the tréma will appear over the second letter of a vowel when you pronounce both vowels. So just like in English that, we have, like, phonics word is diphthongs, where the two letters make one sound. It would be similar in French for most sounds, but when you see the tréma, then you'll pronounce both, like Noël. All right, with these, let's see, I just have to keep adjusting the little thing, sorry. So using these vocabulary words that if you had to especially study some, you might want to study these. Le père, la femme, le stylo, la maison, le journal, le cinéma, la poule, le vendeur, l'homme, le CD. Using those words, which one is this? I want to make the point too that if you see pictures, or sometimes it's in, like, you may have noticed it in your first week homework, is the artist rich or is he popular? Um, well, since most artists are not rich while they're alive, no. Usually you're just looking for the best. Um, Like, just basically make the best choice that you can. And then in the same section, like I think for that one, you also had an uncle. Well, would an uncle tend to be popular? I mean, maybe, but it seems more likely that the uncle would be rich and the artist would be popular. So in something like that, kind of do the best you can. I really try to avoid things like that, that it could be more than one answer. But in this example, what would be the difference between a man and a dad? Well, if it's a picture, most likely there'd be a kid in it. So in this case, this one is l'homme, the man. All right, what about this one? Well, there you go. There's a baby. So le père. This guy looks like he's standing in Best Buy holding an iPad. Looks like a polo shirt with some sort of identification. We're gonna guess that he is le vendeur, a salesman. A nice big house would be la maison. Très bien. And if you don't know Audrey Hepburn, she is fabulous and beautiful and wonderful, and you really should look up a bunch of her movies, especially her first, like, I don't know, 10. They're so great. My opinion. But since we don't have l'actrice here for an actress, then we're going to choose la femme. Also, please understand I am dealing with the best that the internet has to offer, making the best choice. So when you see a large screen and lots of chairs in front of it, sorry, it's kind of a little dark on this recording too. That's right, le cinéma. I know that that is really pretty much just hard to see because I like black, so it's kind of almost unidentifiable. But if you're looking in the list and you're like, that kind of looks like a pen, since we don't have like, I don't know, stick or anything else it could be, then we're going to say it's le stylo. Newspaper, le journal. Chicken. You see like poultry is in the word, so la poule. And finally, since it was already in the vocabulary list and it may come up again in some examples, I know it's like outdated, but instead of le streaming or le cloud, then we'll just go with le CD. Handy. All right, and now is some conversation practice. This would be a conversation formelle. This would be a formal conversation. And remember that the difference in the way that we address people is that if they are more familiar to us, if they are younger children, somebody that we know well, then we could use tu. If it is somebody that we don't know very well, maybe meeting for the first time, maybe like in like teacher, doctor, kind of more professional, you know, situation or whatever that you're meeting them or talking with them, you would, or it's just for plural, if you're talking to more than one person, then you would use vous. But in this one, we're going to keep it formal. In the first sentence, you'll see the abbreviation for Madame would be the capital MME, kind of the equivalent of like our MRS period for Mrs. And then capital M period would be Monsieur. So you can take time to repeat, have a conversation if you have somebody who can practice with you, or if you will just say both of them. I'll go through and then you can go back and practice. Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, monsieur. Comment allez-vous? Bonjour, ça va bien, merci. Et vous? Je vais bien, merci. Comment vous appelez-vous? Je m'appelle, there goes your name. Et vous? Je m'appelle. Enchanté. Enchanté, au revoir. So in remembering what this means, it's hello, how are you? Hi, it's going well, thank you. And you? It's the equivalent of like, I'm doing well, but literally it means I am going well. But anyway, it's going well. Thank you. What is your name? Literally, how do you call yourself? I am called, or my name is, and you? My name is, whatever, Enchanté. You may have heard in like movies and stuff, or, it's about all I can think of, kids' movies or whatever. But Enchanté means nice to meet you. The regular spelling is just like you see, ending with the E with the accent aigu. But when you are speaking to a woman, and this is really only in writing, then you would put another E at the end of the word, but it's pronounced the same. So enchanté, nice to meet you. Au revoir, goodbye. Familiar conversation, conversation familier. Salut, you would know the person's name. Comment ça va? Salut, ça va bien et toi? Ça va. À demain. À bientôt. So hi, whoever. How are you? Hey, whoever. It's going well. And you? It's going. See you tomorrow. See you soon. So these are just a way to get those two expressions in there to practice those. À demain. À bientôt. Yeah. Well, I chose this pretty easy one. There's not a whole lot to say between familiar people because you would pretty much break into regular conversation, so a lot of those introductory things aren't really useful here. So that's about it. Just remembering that there is kind of a different expression for somebody that you know well. Um, the picture just auto adjusts. Anyway, it's weird. Okay, so cultural stuff. Um, you, I'm sure, are familiar with the very common, like European, Middle Eastern. It's oh, what's the word? Not cultural habit. I don't know, custom. That's the word. Of greeting each other with air kisses, so little cheek kisses, not like real necessarily, um, but just little sounds. And this is called faire la bise in French. It's just the way of greeting each other. It's the name for greeting each other with the little side kisses. It is extremely just normal. It's like the equivalent of shaking hands. Like we don't think anything about it. If, I mean, like, okay, that might seem formal to us, but this is, it's kind of opposite. But ladies will greet their friends. Guys mostly even would, or ladies and guys that are just, friends. It's just a very, that's just what they do. And since COVID, of course, the president was like begging them, please stop faring la bise. But so then, elbow bumps and whatever became a thing, I guess. But anyway, so this is traditionally and still very popular. But then the question is, so of course, you just sort of have the rule of, well, like which side goes first? How many do you do? Um, if you always go to your right and then like make sure you don't have like glasses or hats so there's no awkward like head bumping and whatever, and then take those off. I don't know if I said that. And so then one side, the other side. And then though it depends on the area how many would be customary. Like would it be two? Some places go three. Would it be four? This is a little map that shows the average number of kisses, what is popular in these areas. And so you've got two places that only do one cheek. And then very popular is two. I mean, that's the most common. Three would be certain regions towards the south, and then even four, my goodness, in those places. It's kind of funny how it's sort of spread out, though. It's like what happened, like in this region, that everybody was like, yeah, no, we're not doing it any, as much anymore. And oh man, we've got to, So anyway, this is the map of France, and that's sort of broken up by the little districts and stuff. So, all right, first scripture starting this week. Moi, je suis le chemin, la vérité et la vie. Jean chapitre 14, verset 6a. This recording is already up on the website. You'll go to vocaroo.com to make your recording, but you can write this. You can make little notes to yourself about how to pronounce it, or I've seen some people like MWAH, moi, je, just like making kind of like a little pronunciation key. That's totally fine. You can read it while you record it, doing the best that you can, and then share that link back up to the website. Okay. All right. I know this is crazy. This is the French alphabet. I know it's self-explanatory, and everything looks the same. This would be l'alphabet. And we'll go through these quickly. I also am sharing a video for you to practice. There are a few like French teachers on YouTube that I really like, and so you'll be seeing them pretty regularly. But we'll go through this quickly, and you can say it right after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I think it's fabulous that they have V and double V, whereas we have V and double U. Like, it's not a U, but it's smart. Okay, so we've already gone over our definite articles that mean the, le, la, l'apostrophe, and les, and we also have indefinite articles that would mean like a or an and some. So un would come before masculine singular nouns, une would come before feminine singular nouns, and des would come before plural nouns, all plural nouns. Um, the you see, there's not like a need for one with that comes before vowel because, as we'll see in a second, we're just going to hold what would be the silent or like the kind of just nasal ending of you wouldn't necessarily pronounce the un uh, or une, and then you can just sort of keep that end sound and just do the liaison like we talked about last time, and we'll go over again in a second. All right, so we'll say qu'est-ce que c'est? What is this? And then c'est, this is, or it is. So, funny thing about what is this? This actually means what, let's see if I can get over there. Okay, what is this that this is? So, longest way, but that's just what the expression means. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is this? So, we'll say c'est, but because we've got the the T sound before the vowel sound, we would bring that T across kind of, so it would be c'est une maison. C'est une maison. So it's la maison. If it's definite, indefinite would be une maison. C'est un bébé. C'est un bébé. C'est un animal. C'est un animal. C'est une table. C'est une table. C'est un criminel. C'est un criminel. C'est un fruit. C'est un fruit. And if you, I'm sure, have noticed that the French R is very glottal, it's very back of the throat. So if you'll practice fruit, well, that one wasn't the best, but practice with that. C'est une bicyclette. C'est une bicyclette. And c'est une photo. C'est une photo. All right. So what we've been using is liaison, where when there are two vowel sounds next to each other, they will pull the last consonant, or, in which case, if usually that T at the end of meaning is, would be silent, now they're going to speak the T so that we don't have il est admirable. They don't like it very broken. It's a very smooth language. Il est admirable. Eric ferme les yeux. So it would be les yeux. Les yeux. Un élève. Des hôtels. Then the Elysion, Elysian, would just be like how we would contract. So je arrive would just contract to j'arrive. So it actually just drop the E instead of ignoring it and put an apostrophe. J'arrive, and le album would be l'album. And that's how you just see that L apostrophe that we've already learned. Here are some regular classroom commands. We've got écrivez. Some of them have exclamation points, some of them don't. Most of us, I was like, goodness, are we yelling all of them? But so écrivez would mean to write. It's actually saying you write, like our imperative form where it's just understood subject. So you don't even have to, there's not any listed. So écrivez, to write. Écoutez, I misspelled a couple of these also. They should be ending in Z. So where you see R, I made a mistake because it should, ER would be the infinitive, like écouter and répéter, But when it's just écouter ending with Z, which goodness, that's three mistakes now I need to correct. That means listen. Next to it would be lisez, lisez, we read. Répétez, repeat. Levez la main, levez la main, raise your hand. Even though it's la main, the hand, when you are telling someone what other hand will they be raising, they're going to raise their own. So I guess that's why they're just like, I don't have to tell you to raise your hand, just raise the hand. You'll see that there's a few other expressions or situations whenever it's not specifically like your, but it's, that's what it means. But levez la main. Levez-vous would be stand up. So you see raise yourself literally, but levez-vous, stand up or get up. Asseyez-vous, sit down, seat yourself. Ouvrez le livre, open the book. Fermez le livre, close the book. Répondez à la question. Répondez à la question, answer the question. Faites attention. Faites attention. Pay attention. Prenez une feuille de papier. This E-U-I-L-L-E, this sound is in several French words that makes it very hard for Americans to say because we don't really have an equivalent, but as you practice it, prenez une feuille de papier. Parlez plus fort. Oh, sorry, the other one was take a piece of paper. Parlez plus fort is speak louder. Étudier le vocabulaire, studies vocabulary. So we'll go through this as quickly as we can. But la vie scolaire, school life. En France, il y a 5 niveaux scolaires. La maternelle, le primaire, le collège, le lycée et l'université. In France, there are 5 levels or 5 school levels. And then you aren't going to really translate these because this is what they're called there. La maternelle, le primaire, which would be like primary school kind of, le collège, which looks like college to us but is not the same, le lycée et l'université. L'école maternelle est pour les enfants âgés de 2 ou 3 ans jusqu'à 6 ans. La maternelle est l'équivalent de nursery school et de kindergarten aux États-Unis. So l'école maternelle is for children aged 2 or 3 years until 6 years. La maternelle is the equivalent of nursery school and of kindergarten in the United States. L'école primaire est pour les enfants âgés de 6 ans à 10 ans. Ces étudiants vont à l'école 5 jours par semaine. Cependant, quelquefois, ils ont classe le samedi et ou mercredi et le samedi matin. Ils ont classe 24 à 28 heures par semaine. La journée scolaire commence à 8 heures et finit à 4 heures. So the primary school, l'école primaire, is for children aged 6 years to 10 years. These students go to school 5 days per week. However, sometimes they have classes Saturday. Le samedi would be every Saturday, and or Wednesday and Saturday morning. So if they have school on Saturday morning, then they are usually going to be off on Wednesday. But if they have like a half a day on Wednesday, they'll have like a half day on Saturday morning. Anyway, but don't feel sorry for them yet. They have classes 24 to 28 hours per week. The school day begins at 8 o'clock and finishes at 4 o'clock. But remember, they are not there that entire time. And especially in the villages, they go home for lunch and eat lunch and then come back. So there's a break to rest. Le collège est pour les étudiants de 11 à 15 ans. Ils ont classe de lundi à vendredi et quelquefois le samedi matin aussi. Ils ont à peu près 2 heures de devoirs chaque jour. Après 4 ans au collège, on passe le brevet un examen, okay, period. Après le brevet, un étudiant peut quitter le système à l'âge de 16 ans ou il peut continuer au lycée général, au lycée technique ou au lycée professionnel. So le collège is for students from 11 to 15 years old. They have classes Monday to Friday and sometimes Saturday morning also. They have about 2 hours of homework every day. After 4 years of collège, they pass le brevet, which is the name of a test. They, take the brevet, the name of the test. After le brevet, a student can leave school, leave the system, um, at the age of 16 years old, or he can continue to, so there's general high school, lycée is high school, a technical high school, or professional high school. The latter of two they're just going to discuss in just a second. Le lycée, so that one was more like a kind of middle school to lower high school, our equivalent. Le lycée général et le lycée technique préparent les étudiants pour le bac, un examen qui, s'ils réussissent, leur permet d'entrer dans une université à l'âge de 18 ans. Le lycée professionnel, qui est moins académique, prépare les étudiants pour un métier ou pour une position dans un bureau. So the general high school and the technical high school, or lycée, prepares students for le bac, which is short for le baccalauréat. It's a test which, if they pass, allows them to enter in university at 18 years old. Le lycée professionnel, like professional high school, which is less academic, prepares students for a trade or for a position in an office. So when I first heard this, I thought, my goodness, like depending on what kind of student you are or how you take this test, like it just determines the rest of the course of your life. But in just kind of seeing a different culture and not just like, oh, if they don't do things the American way, that's just weird. But if you think about how helpful it is, I guess, for them that if a person, so instead of just saying, okay, you graduated from high school, you have to go to college, that's just what you do. And then you've got kids who are in college struggling and having a hard time because they weren't really like a great fit for college or it wasn't really for them. And here they are just doing it because they feel like they're supposed to. So here, in France, they will take this test, and depending on how they score on the test, either says, yes, you are on track to go to university, or, this is what's best for you and your gifts and strengths. Whereas if that's not their strength, then there's, kind of they go in the direction of like what we would sort of say like trade school or something like that, which is not less than, it's just different, where they're going to go and they're going to learn, skills that they can use and be trained for, um, different jobs and stuff like that. On distribue les bulletins scolaires à la fin de chaque trimestre. Les notes possibles vont de 0 à 20. 10 est la moyenne. Une note de 15 est très bonne. Les professeurs et les parents peuvent s'écrire des notes, demander des renseignements ou écrire des commentaires dans un carnet de correspondance. Plus de 50% de jeunes Français entre 18 et 21 ans continuent leur éducation. So they hand out or distribute report cards at the end of each trimester, so 3 months. Possible grades go from 0 to 20. 10 is, so moyenne would be like middle, but that would be like the passing grade. Like you have passed if you got a 10. A grade of 15 is very good. Like that's basically excellent. They almost never give 20s. That is just like for perfection. Um, which is funny how much we like go for hundreds. Like, yeah, why not? But they just don't do it like that. Um, let's see, teachers and parents can write to each other, like write notes to each other, asking for information or writing comments in this carnet de correspondance. I am just going to assume is being replaced by email now, but back in the day when this article was written, apparently it was actually like a notebook that went back and forth. I thought that was interesting. Over 50% of young French people between the ages of 18 and 21 continue their education. So that is our lecture. The homework is posted. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Merci. Au revoir.